Some of you might recognize me from the glasses on short form content, or come here from an ad or my organic process in Instagram, or maybe even YouTube. Doesn't matter, you're here now. And I'm here to tell you is that, hey, I grew my Instagram account from very little now to 81,000 followers in 10 months. I'm the guy that's actually done the thing. I have viral videos that I've personally edited inside my own account. And I was sitting almost 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago in the defense industry as a program manager, and I was rapidly looking for some other way to generate income. I didn't intend to start a social media business. I didn't intend to start a media agency, and I didn't intend to generate sales online. I just kind of stumbled into it. And I saw these big personalities making a fair amount of revenue from selling different services and products online. And the power of the internet is massive. And over that last 18 months that I've started my business, it's been almost a little bit under 2 years. That first 18 months, I generated 7 figures in sales. And to me, that's actually a really huge number because that's nearly 5 times what I was making before in the defense industry. I didn't grow up with social media. I'm a Marine veteran, nearly 45 years old. I didn't have social media. I didn't have a computer, and I didn't have a cell phone as growing up. There was no such thing. Now, that just inspires everybody so that you know that it's possible that you too can do it. Age is just a number on a sheet. What we're gonna teach you is a process, how to optimize your Instagram profile and turn that into your primary sales funnel to generate leads. And everything starts with your Instagram profile. That's the first thing people see and scroll past you on the internet. With that being said, I own a media agency. And I remember looking back at the duck-lipped, attractive people making content and selfies at the restaurant and kind of making fun of them until I started myself. See, unlike being obnoxiously attractive to bring in views and get yourself attention, I had to develop real skill. And make no mistake, on my page, I have multiple multi-million videos that I scripted, filmed, and edited myself at 45 years old. In the last 8 months, I have at least 3 videos over a million views. Several of them multi-million views, bringing in 10s, 20, 30,000 followers. Between those several videos, nearly 50,000 leads were generated into my business for the cost of almost zero. There's not gonna be one single place that's gonna have better information. It's all gonna be in one spot. So pay attention. There's 10 components that you need to master on your Instagram page. I'll walk through them step by step, essentially top to bottom. And those 10 components are personalized username, SEO display name, profile picture, optimized bio, deep link, Instagram highlights, best account type for you, verified account, frequently asked questions, lastly but not leastly, suggested accounts. With these 10 improvements, we're gonna turn your basic Instagram profile into a money generating machine and your primary sales funnel. Okay, so go grab yourself a coffee, get a pen and a paper, something to write with, because there's gonna be some value information in here that you're gonna wanna take notes on. Go ahead and do that, come back, and let's get started and knock this one out the park. First component is your personalized username. Now, between your personalized username and your SEO display name, these will be the primary 2 ways that people will find you on Instagram search. Now, think of it like this. They search your company and they search your name. You're gonna wanna be the first person that pops up on their display. If nobody can find you, then you don't exist on the internet. Now, ideally, when someone searches for you, we want you to be the first person to pop up when they search for you. And how do we do that? We do that with your personalized username. Now, make no mistake, your personalized username should really just be your first and last name. It's in line with your personal brand. Why? It's because people buy from people they like, know, and trust. Number 2 is, if it's a corporation or a business, people don't really trust those. I mean, you have to really think about how you search on the internet, what comes top of mind. And at the end of the day, really, it should only be your first and last name, because that's who you truly are on the internet. Now, you have to remember is that people buy from people they like, know, and trust. Now, do you really trust Solar City, or is it Elon Musk? When you think of branding and personnel and people, when you think of Dwayne Johnson, do you think Terra Masanta or whatever his tequila is called? Probably not. When you think of Kim Kardashian, the first thing that comes to mind is it Skims? Probably not. You don't go to Skims and watch someone's life on there. It's just product stuff, rather boring. Look at the size of the skim page or look at the size of the tequila page, but look at the size of the personal branding page from the person. That's personality. We trust The Rock, so if he sells us something that we align with, we buy it easily. We just go figure out how to do that thing. Personal branding is the same way. Now, the only caveat to those rules, and there are more guidelines than rules, but I highly suggest using your name, is if your name's taken. What do you do? Like, my name was taken. Now, the ideal way to do this is if your name is taken, leverage your name, first name, and then the industry. Pretty simple, right? Like, if you were a fitness coach, an online fitness coach, and your name was Nick, you would say Fit Nick. That'd be the only time you'd want to do something like that. Every other time, you really just want to leverage your name. That's really the point here. Okay, and now it's time for the applicational steps. Go ahead and go over to your phone or your computer, hit the edit profile function, scroll down to the user section, username section. It's number 2, the bullet number 2, and input whatever it is that you like. I highly suggest your name. And now you have a personalized Instagram username. Second component is SEO optimized display name. This is where we tell a little bit about who you are and feed some information in about your niche specifically. Now, what does Instagram do with this? It's searchable, and this helps the algorithm understand who you are and what it is that you do and how to link your content, your profile to other people that might potentially be searching for that same thing at that same moment. Now, this is quite simple. You don't have to confuse this too much. All we simply want to do for the SEO optimized display name is have first and last name with the line, it's called a break, and then your niche specific details. For example, if you were a female fitness coach and you wanted to help new moms drop 20 pounds in say 6 months, busy professional moms, then your profile would look something like this. Jim Steen, break, I help busy professionals drop 30 pounds in 6 months or something like that. Or I help busy moms drop their postpartum weight, something like that. Very simple, okay? Now, if I was a sales guru, it might look something like this. I'm John Doe, and say that John Doe only deals with high ticket sales consultants. So businesses that only deal with selling a product above 10,000. So their profile might look something like this. John Doe, high ticket sales consultant, with the break line in between their name and their niche. Now say that you're a strikingly handsome bald guy with blue eyes, Viking looking savage. Yours might look something like Clinton Dye, aka me, break line content marketer. That's what I did, if you got that. If maybe you didn't catch that, guys, I was talking about me. Okay, moving on. Now, what you don't want to do is leave this area pretty broad. And this is one of the primary mistakes that I see a lot of people online do. Now, fitness coaching, we use a lot of fitness coaching because one of my biggest clients that's where I started this whole endeavor, was with a fitness coach, online personal development coach. But a lot of the students that come across there, they'll typically do something like this. And this is way too broad. You want to be very specific on who you serve, because that leads back in your offer. The less they have to think about things, the easier it is for you in the sales process, just like everything. You don't want them asking a lot of questions. You want them to clearly understand who you are, what you do, and how you can help them. So this is an example of what you do not want to do. John Doe, break, worldwide coach. That doesn't mean anything. John Doe, mindset coach. People don't search that. Most people don't even understand what that is. You want to solve a very specific problem. So if we were to redo this, it would be John Doe. I help recovering alcoholics stay sober for the rest of their life, or something like that. I don't know. You want to be very specific on who you serve. What is the avatar that you're speaking to? And build your profile around that. You work backwards. Your ideal sales person, opportunity, avatar, client, work backwards and building everything around their problems and what they need solved. That's how I approach this process. I don't approach this process of the reverse, like trying to figure out that. No, we find what those details are and then work everything backwards so it's perfectly aligned. Practical application, go ahead and open up your Instagram, hit edit profile just like before. You're going to go ahead and select your optimized profile name, and then you're going to go ahead and update first, last name, break line, and then your niche specific details that we talked about. Now, see, that's not too complicated, right? Now you have an optimized SEO based username and display name. Now we're off to the races. The third component, the perfect profile photo. Now, don't get it twisted. You don't need some Sports Illustrated professional photographer or a really juicy professional camera to get a really great Instagram profile photo. All you really need is your iPhone. Now, there's a super secret website that really helps you produce a juicy photo really simply, and it's free. However, before we get into that, we're gonna have to really rip that Band-Aid off and do something the old-fashioned way. Now, I know a lot of you are a little bit insecure, but we've got to take a photo. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's way easier than you think it is. We're simply going to open up your camera, whip out your iPhone camera, selfie mode, hit the little double arrows, point the camera back at yourself. Now, if you have an Android phone, do whatever it is that you guys do. I don't know. We're going to take the photo, extend your arm, press record, give it a great smile, right? Hit pause, or photo, by the way, not pause. You guys get what I'm talking about, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been doing this all day, making this photo. Okay, now you're gonna ask yourself, now Clinton, why did you smile? You're this, stoic, tough guy. Why are you smiling and cheesing on camera? Well, here's the real deal, is when you're passing someone on the street, if they're stoic and serious and stern and they don't smile, do you want to approach them? The answer is probably not, realistically. But if they're happy and smile, like, hey, how's it going? Did you see the weather here in Miami? It's amazing. If they're personable, you might want to approach and open up a conversation. Well, in the world of social media, where no one knows who you are, they're just passing by, death scrolling on the internet, and they've come across your profile. If you're smiling, chances are you're way more approachable if you're smiling than if you're stoic, mean, and stern. Just saying, food for thought. Now that you have your Men's Health Magazine super profile cover photo ready to go, and it's sitting in your camera roll, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to this super secret website. The super secret website is called pdfmaker.com. You literally type that in your search engine and pop right up. You'll see it over here somewhere, but you'll go right there. Simply open up that app, upload your photo. Now this is real simple, pay attention. Get your head all up in that photo bubble, because Instagram photo is like really small. The real estate's really tiny. You wanna really maximize all that real estate with your face. So zoom it in to where your face basically takes up the majority of that bubble. Now, the only other thing that you need to do is select a background. Now, there's different colors here in alignment with your brand. In the next section, we're going to really discuss the science behind some of these colors, but for the most part, really just want to pick a popular one at that's point. And my popular one that I picked was black, because that's what I'm all about. I have a black shirt, I have black chucks, I wear black pants, my car's black. I like black. So that's my branding colors. It's really not too complex. Now, you're going to say, well, how come you don't have a photo, Clinton? And it's because hackers attacked my account, and they associate your face from your content and your profile photo. So they report you at mass that your content is copyrighted against yourself or some other account, and then it'll auto lock you out of your account. So to prevent that, I just have the black imagery so that you can't associate my content with my face, aka a business entity, and it can't auto shut down. Now, the majority of you people won't have that issue because you're not being bombarded or attacked by hackers. My account was attacked 8 times in the first year of doing this by a hacker, and a hacker wanted to extort me for money. That hacker is currently in federal prison, looking at 30 years in federal penitentiary for their scheme of how they would exploit Instagram accounts, basically blackmail those people and try to embezzle money out of them. They've done all kinds of craziness. So you don't have to worry about that. The likelihood that your account's going to get shut down is very low, because you guys aren't really going to start getting the multi-millions of followers per month. The more followers and exposure you get on the internet, the more likely you're going to be exposed to someone that's a little not all there up in between their ears. But at the small level, you guys don't have to worry about it. Pick a photo, pick a color, you'll be good. In the next section, we'll discuss the science and the popularity behind that. And kind of maybe this will drive some of your selections. Now, in alignment with the colors, remember branding. So for me, my branding personally is black. You see all my content is bright colors. I run local ads, I run national ads. It's black, black glasses, black chucks, black pants. People recognize me on the street from time to time. It's not like I'm The Rock or somebody crazy like that. But when I go to eat or I'm out with my girlfriend, someone will most likely recognize me. The staff, someone walking by, something. It's, I won't say super common, but at least once a week, sometimes multiple times a day. Not to toot my own horn, but I might be slightly famous. I don't know. Is that fame to you or annoying? I don't know. To me, that's kind of slightly famous. All right, according to a study from prototyper.ai, the colors by popularity that were tested on Twitter are listed as such: yellow, black, blue, white, green. One more time: yellow, black, blue, white, green, in order from most popular down. The top two are yellow and black. Blue also suggests trustworthiness, but just pick the colors that are in alignment with your brand. Like, I'm just saying that your boy right here, Clinton, was on that branding thing long before I ever knew that black was the second most popular color. I mean, who knew? All right, now this brings us up to the 4 components of the optimized bio. Now, the whole idea behind the optimized bio is when you get someone that rolls across as a viewer on your page, you want that viewer to stop and potentially follow your page. And then over time, you want to convert that follower over into a potential sales opportunity or a customer as they enter in the top of your funnel. Okay, the first line of your bio is your elevator pitch. This is who you serve, what you do, and how you can help them. The second line of your bio is the authority statement or your niche specific accomplishments. Now, the third line of your bio, depending on how many characters that you use so far in your 160 character limit, would just be an additional authority builder. Now, specifically, this line isn't really necessary. So if you have the room, go ahead and use it. If you don't have the room, don't. But it would just be reiterating more of your authority building within that niche. And the last line is the call to action or CTA. Now, the important thing to remember here is you need to be clear, concise, and right to the point. For an example of this, it's VSLs, newsletters, comment a keyword to get this thing, send them over to a website, anything that can be perceived as free value if they want to book a call. It just needs to be clearly direct. If you want to work with me, comment this keyword to get this thing or book a call. There's probably lots of ways to organize a bio and optimize it. There'll be a dozen different ways to do something very similar. This is just the way that I've found that is very clear, concise, and ultimately converts traffic down into followers and traffic over into potential sales down the road. Now, before you go ahead and move on to the next module, I want you to go ahead and pause this screen here and take a look at the different profiles below. Now, I want you to remember is that yours truly is obviously the latest and greatest and the best one. But we have different examples of amazing profiles that are very optimized and done correctly at different levels. We have Jen Steen, who's a female fitness coach, and obviously Jason, who is the only AutoCAD surveyor coach in his space. And he helps individuals that are in college generate about twice as much income as a new grad in engineering doing surveying. Go ahead and pause the video on these optimized bios below, and there'll be great examples in different niches. Obviously, you have your boys truly, we have Jen Steen, and we also have Jason, which is one of my premier clients that got a 26 ROI on this business course right here and his ad expense. He's fixing to scale well over 100,000 per month because Jason is just that type of guy. He listens, applies, and learns. Inside the next 12 months, he's obviously going to kill it. But he's already sitting at 40 to 50K in his new business, leveraging our systems and processes to scale his business. Component number 5 of an optimized Instagram account is the deep link. Now, most people don't understand what happens on Instagram, so let's explain real quick how the regular link works. So when you type in a link to anything, website, your landing page, Shopify account, doesn't matter. What happens specifically when you open up that account, since Instagram wants you to stay on their platform, what happens is you click on the link in anybody's Instagram account, it opens up an internal Instagram browser. Here's the problem. Instagram wants you to stay on their platform. So that browser is actually hosted inside the Instagram application. Problem is you're not logged into anything. So the user is not logged into their YouTube account or anything else. So what happens is when you want to, say, follow someone or do anything, subscribe, they have to go ahead and log in through that Instagram browser. Hence why we want to use something called a deep link. Now, a deep link is specifically just an application that bypasses the Instagram application and then opens up a secondary application like YouTube on your phone. It'll go ahead and open up your YouTube application on your iPhone you're already logged into. So if you wanted to subscribe to somebody, you simply just hit the subscribe button. This increases your likelihood that someone's going to like, comment, or subscribe because they're already logged in to an external application outside of Instagram. Now, if you want to go ahead and add in a deep link, you simply just go to your search engine, type in deep link in the search, and then I like the one that's called URL Genie or Genius, URL Genius. Go ahead and click that link. You'll notice it'll say app.urlgenie.us is the address. It's a minty green one. You'll see an example of that pop up somewhere on this screen. It's pretty simple. Copy and paste your destination that you want to open up as a deep link into this application, and then it'll go ahead and create you the optimized version of a deep link. Copy and paste that right into your Instagram profile, and you're good to go. Straightforward. And now you can take advantage of a higher follow rate, subscribe rate on these external platforms like YouTube. Very beneficial because what do I care if every time someone clicks on my URL Genius that it's going to be, a couple cents a click. Well, when I send people over to my deep link, it's going into my business offer right here and basically a VSL and a landing page. So I'm scraping emails off anybody that's coming to the landing page. We're retargeting those people in ads. It's a whole system. So a couple cents that I'm hit for every person that clicks the link and visits my website, I am not complaining about that. Now, if you're sending people into some other type of offer, the whole idea is that you want to basically make money at some point, convert that traffic over into potential sell. This takes us on to section 6, component number 6, the story highlights, the 1 to 5 bubbles below your deep link. Now, what are these? Why are these really important? Is because these are essentially your television show with commercials, and they live forever. Unlike your stories that recycle every 24 hours, your story highlight bubbles can be there forever. And I suggest that you lay these out in a very specific way to optimize sales and then have a higher conversion rate with the audience that visits your account. And they simply are in a list just like this. You want to do at least 3. So it's your offer, testimonials, and who you are or about you. Then you have another 2 bubbles that you could potentially use, and these could be anything. A product that you're pushing, if you're passionate about dogs or the universe or religion or travel, then you can go ahead and create another bubble that's of interest to you. But the bare minimum, those 3, I think you should focus on. Let's talk about testimonials real quick. Testimonials should follow a similar structure. Client talking about what you did and how you helped them. If you made them money, talk about that. If their experience was great, talk about that. And these can be simple. They can send them in. They don't have to all be videos. So they could be screenshots. So what I like to do is I make a screenshot with the client profile, some kind words that they said, and then basically a little arrow, client win or something like that from a testimonial. You can do those, or you could do them talking. Interview style, I think, works best if you're able to get with your client and basically say, hey, this is Clinton, owner of Crispy Media. We were able to help my client, John from Auto Detailing. John, tell us about what we did for you and how we've helped your business. Well, John would basically say, hey, in the first 30 days, we were able to launch local ads and we were able to bring in 40 new clients over a 30-day period. We've added, several hundred followers to our account, and we're now starting to have a booked out sales calendar. That does good. I want you to remember is that those testimonials where people speak on your behalf are worth their weight in gold. I mean, Mind Valley comes to mind, where Mind Valley is this huge organization that runs a ton of ads, but they have whole ads that are nothing but client testimonials, like whole ad sets, like 50, 100 that are just client testimonials. Client testimonials will be the best form of advertising that you could ever use. Now, the second bubble is your offer. Oh, I almost forgot. Now, let's go back to client testimonials real quick. So client testimonials, now I want you to use a very specific structure, and this is just beating home your sales structure is client testimonial, and then a call to action to whatever it is. Comment the word growth to get this thing, comment the word growth to book a call, something like that. You want to use that structure because you want to constantly remind people that you're selling something and that you can help them. So they see those client testimonials and then they're skipping along. They'll say, let's book a call with them. I'm interested. I've seen enough. Same thing with your offer bubble, the next one. Offer should be very specific on what it is that you do. Results, offer, etc. is you want to lay out exactly how you help people. So, help my client, John, go from this to this in the automotive niche. So for me, the business offer that we have, I would basically be listing all these different clients and different aspects of my offer that I helped, and then a clear call to action every third bubble. So you have testimonials, offer, results. They're very similar. You want to use that same structure, which is essentially proof, social proof, call to action. Social proof, call to action. About you is the next bubble is really just simple about you, the things that are important to you. This doesn't have to have a call to action. It could have a call to action, but I just like people to get to know me on the things that matter most to me. So for me personally, I was in the Marine Corps. I was a Marine Corps veteran. That's very important to me. I love cars. That's important to me. I love fancy cars, custom cars, classics, anything cool of any genre I like. I'm a car person. The way they rumble and tumble, that's me. So you'll see something with cars for me. I like fitness. Fitness is great for my mental wellness and obviously stress management. And then I feel better when I work out. So, we get a little size over time. If that's what I love. And then obviously my family, you get to know me about my family. The things important to me is I travel a lot. You get to see my friends. All my friends, have exotic and hyper cars and are obviously into fitness and are all tattooed up, obviously, like, birds of a feather stick together typically. So those are the things that I like. I go to church. I have a girlfriend. You can see all those different aspects. I'm a dog person, not a cat person. So about you is just so that the audience can get to know you. And the good part about the highlights is you produce a story and you can just add it right over to your highlights later. Now, there is some organizational things like to where that they look good. There's different applications to help you do that. Canva is great. And then there's some bubble organization applications that help you. But for the most part, you just add a new story in the order that you want, and it just kind of moves them around. The last one updated just goes to the left. And that kind of rounds it out. Now you have two other bubbles. They really don't matter. So you have your three, which is your testimonial, your offer, and your results about you. Any one of those three, I would not have testimonials, and I would not have your offer, and I would not have results or about you. So that's it. I mean, those are kind of blended. You could put all those in one realistically, and then about you. But in general, minimum three: testimonial, about you, offer, or results. Either or. Okay. Now, I know that's hit you with a lot, but don't overcomplicate these. Just go ahead and have fun with it. Anything that goes into stories, go ahead and add it in there. I mean, a lot of people that start in Instagram or on social media have this massive fear about being judged. I can tell you right now is just rip that Band-Aid off and go ahead and go all in. It doesn't matter if it's completely perfectly edited for your story, like a movie, or it's just literally done in the story editor. Most everything that you see in my static ads is edited in my story editor because it's so fast and easy. If I see something I like, I'll create a static square ad and literally run that over and push it to my Meta account real time because it's so simple. It takes 30 seconds to 60 seconds to make a creative and use it over in your ads. It does none of this stuff has to be like blockbuster style movie, like perfectly curated stuff. Actually, authentic and original you are to yourself and basic, the better things are starting to work because I think the audience is too used to the highly curated stuff. I know that's hard to grasp as a business owner. It's hard to grasp as a perfectionist, but I can tell you right now, you don't need a super fancy camera. You don't need a super fancy editor. It doesn't need to look like a movie. Actually, it's most likely um, watering down your message and costing you both money and views. Be just yourself. Remember, it's a television show with commercials. So fire up your camera and do some videos like that. You want to be on point with your messaging, just like on point with your highlight bubbles. But at the end of the day, get it in there. Make it better over time. Tell a better story over time. Not doing it because it's not perfect is not a great excuse. That is the most damaging thing you could possibly do is just not start, just not get something up. I am so far beyond caring about the highest level of quality because there is no clear link between it being absolutely perfect and making more sales. There's no association there. It needs to be good and good enough, and it needs to grab the attention of the audience and move along, tell a story that you want in your way. Now, there are some settings on the back end which are going to be optimized to give your account the best conversion rate possible. And those 4 settings are comprised of these 4 things. And those 4 things are business account verification, FAQ, and suggested accounts. Now, there are several different types of accounts, but business account is one of the ones that has the most features that you can leverage as a business. Now, if you don't own a business, maybe a creator account's just fine. But you don't have to take my word for it because here's a chart we're going to throw up right over here that shows you all the features that you could potentially get as a business account. I want to make sure that you understand is that leveraging this one does have a small impact is that it gives you a limited amount of access to trending audio. Why is that important? I honestly really don't think it's super important is because trending audio doesn't help you. It makes your Instagram page, I guess, more interesting or whatever, but in the big scheme of what's going to work, it really doesn't help you at all. Now, as you can see, the only feature that you don't really get access to as a business account is a limited amount of audio and music. I don't know if that's impactful or not, but ultimately, I don't use it because we have all these other features. This is the practical application. If you want to set up your business profile, go to the upper right, select the 3 lines, aka the hamburger. Scroll down, account types and tools, or creator tools and controls. Go ahead and walk through the business options, configure out the rest of the profile, and you should be good to go. This brings us to account verification. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, account verification comes with a long list of features that Meta enables for you if you can qualify for the account verification. Now, this has a sense of nostalgia leftovers because previously, before you could actually purchase something like this, you had to earn it the old-fashioned way. And it was nearly impossible. It was kind of like a chupacabra or a Yeti or a Bigfoot or aliens or something. It's like something that maybe existed. There was a rumor. We maybe see a little hint of it, but there was not really a policy or a process or a clear-cut, dry way to go achieve that thing. You essentially had to be like kind of famous, and then they would do this massive verification. It cost a whole lot of money, and then you get that little blue check mark. Well, the old days are gone. Now, if you qualify for this, you will actually be able to purchase this. Now, we're going to put up a sheet up here, a chart that basically lists all the various features here. And the most important thing that you're going to see on the chart is really only with 2 accounts based on, how I use a thing and my expertise. I kind of suggest you use the Business Plus, start there, and basically gives you everything, all the protections of the account. Or if you're feeling super fancy and you require extra support, Business Premium, which I really like, is the ability to pick up and call somebody. Now, I don't know if you know anything about Meta, but Meta is a business where it's actually hard to pick up the phone and talk to some type of a support agent. So when you can purchase something that gives you access to be able to pick up the phone and call someone, that's really good. I have a good chunk of my business and livelihood comes direct from Instagram sales. So I need to protect that primary avenue if there's anything that's wrong with my account, and being able to pick up the phone is really important. Additionally, you have prioritization in the support help center. So if you put in a ticket, they're supposed to respond to you relatively quickly and give you some type of an update. The rest of the various options, unless you're like a super ginormous account, you require a lot of different options for business accounts and a lot of different people inside your account. I really don't suggest that as being necessary. It's maybe overkill for the majority of anybody unless it's just a massive account. For me, Business Premium is absolutely perfect, and it really, hands down, gives me everything that I possibly need, all the previous options, plus the ability to pick up the phone and call someone, in a nutshell. Now, if you wanted to set this up for yourself, it's pretty simple. It's just like everything else that we've discussed so far. Is you go down to the hamburger lines, 3 lines, upper right hand corner. Go ahead and hit Account Center. One of the options down is Meta Verified. There's a couple different screens that you'll run through to verify, but one of them requires information verification. So who you are verification, and the only other step after proofing who you are with some form of ID is essentially paying for the service. You should be absolutely good to go after that point. Now, that takes us down to unlocking kind of the next option based on this business profile. Is when you unlock the business profile, you get a couple added features built in, and you're going to see those in the next video. Okay, now we're at section 1.9. Since you now have a business account, you've unlocked FAQ, or frequency asked question. Now, if you don't know what this is simply when you get a new follower and someone messages you for the first time, or a new message for the first time, the very top of the chat trail is a couple questions. They can click on those. They're in blue, and then you can pre-fill out questions that they want to ask. Like, one of the questions could be, what hours of operation are you? What is your offer? Anything like that. To configure this is really simple. You go into your business profile, scroll down a little bit to frequency asked questions. Go ahead and click that. There's a little bubble there that says show in chat. Make sure that's blue on. And then go ahead and fill out the various questions that you want. Like me in particular, I basically say, what services do you offer? And I basically list out my primary offer, which is my business offer, which is what you guys are seeing here. I basically outline in short notes what it is that we do. Basically, a done with you service that replaces marketing agencies, content agencies, and business consulting, if you will, online business consulting. That's it. I have several questions, and then if they want to book a call or whatever, they can get into there from the chat. But that's essentially what you want to do. So go ahead and add a question, fill that out like something that your ideal person that would be inquiring about your business would want to know. Like I said, hours of operation, or what is your primary offer? How can you help me? That kind of thing. And then you just list that out. Go ahead and close that out. Now, when someone comes across your account, they'll be able to chat with you, and they might save you a few messages by learning a little bit more about your business the old-fashioned way, which is just paying attention to what's on screen instead of actually asking another question. What is it that you do for, what is it that you can help me do with my business, or whatever it is. Now, that takes us on to the next one, which is going to be suggested accounts. And this one's actually pretty important. So I want you to pay attention to this last one, because this is an old school hack. It actually works. And this is, I guess, one of the few settings that you can apply on Instagram that actually gives you the ability to grow your account and get like-minded followers. So you have a niche, right? If you interact with people in your own niche, it'll help you. So let's go ahead and check out that next module. Okay, and the final and last section is called the suggested profile, suggested accounts. Now, most of you might not even have a clue what this is, but I want you to think of it simply just like this. When you go and you follow any type of creator, Instagram detects that. And then what it does is it suggests a bunch of accounts, usually large accounts that are within that niche or similar to that account creator that you originally followed. What do you think happens is if your account is on those suggested accounts, you would have a large opportunity to be exposed to lots of potential followers, is because they're essentially advertising your niche to the whole world. Now, to turn this thing on, you cannot do it from your phone. So what you have to do is go get your laptop or your PC, pull it on over, and go ahead and go to the Instagram website. You simply just go to edit profile, down is suggested accounts. Go ahead and toggle that one on. Once that's toggled on, your account is completely and entirely optimized and set up to really, really get the most out of everything Instagram has to offer, at least at the setting and configuration level. Let's not wait too long. Let's go ahead and get right into leveraging all those things that we set up. Let's start making some content.